game on October 10th, this Saturday, against Appalachian State. That game will be played in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome and will kick off at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. Coach Miles, just want to get your thoughts on the Liberty game and the upcoming game against Appalachian State before we get to questions.
Well, my thoughts on the Liberty game is we didn't play very well on defense. Offensively, we only had the ball for 16 minutes and 27 seconds for the whole game and scored 33 points in 16 minutes. So offensively, we're putting up points. Defensively, we played the worst we've played all season and didn't play well and gave up 41. So we're going to have to play much, much better this week to have a chance to compete against Appalachian State. Going into this game, I feel Appalachian State is an excellent football team. Their one loss, I think, came to Clemson. They're very physical. They run the ball extremely well. They got an excellent back, and they're a very, very tough defense. So we got a lot of work to do, and hopefully we show up and get a victory.
Thank you, Coach Miles. As a reminder to our members of the media, please press *1 at this point to get in the queue to ask questions. Before we get to questions, Coach, just wanted to ask you about the return of receiver Donovan Harden last Saturday. He was out with an injury for a few weeks, and you got him back on Saturday. What did you see his impact to the offense on Saturday?
Well, he had 179 yards receiving, and the first time he got the ball thrown to him, it was a touchdown. So, yeah, I saw a lot from him in a very short period of time. Donovan's a dynamic, explosive player that is a very tough competitor, and he brings a lot to our offense.
Thank you, Coach Miles. We now go to our first question, which comes from Steve Barrow in Boone, North Carolina. Steve, if you're there, please go ahead.
Thank you. Coach, App State's defense was pretty stout, especially against the run, until they played Wyoming, and then Wyoming kind of run the ball pretty well. I realize you guys passed, but can you get anything out of that game as far as maybe taking advantage of that, or did you see anything maybe on the film that you can use?
Well, you look at all their games, and you look at everything that's been done against them and everything that they do, the different formations and different plays and personnel groups, and you try to use what you have in your system to be able to go out and do things to attack their weaknesses, but you don't get out of your system. I mean, we're not going to invent a whole new offense between now and Saturday.
Mm-hmm. I was just wondering maybe if you, well, I guess you kind of answered it. Obviously, you're still going to throw. Did you? What do you think of their defense as far as, especially their pass rushes seem to be pretty good for most of the year?
Yeah, I think they're good.
As far as throwing against them.
They've got athletes. They're a very physical group that plays well together. I mean, it's a good defense. Really good. It's a good football team. Good offense, good defense.
Well, last year it seemed, of course, you had to play in the snow, and you don't get that this year. Can you take anything from last year's game?
Well, we didn't show up for last year's game, to be honest with you. I mean, it was one of those days where, obviously the snow played a factor, but we weren't a very mentally tough football team last year and didn't show up to compete as competitors. And that was the biggest disappointment for me from last year.
That's all I got. Thank you, Coach.
All right.
Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you, Coach Miles. That's all the time we have for you today. We appreciate your time.